Hi, this is Amy Romeo from the jewelry making and craft blog amyromeo.com, and on this channel I share fun and easy jewelry making and craft projects. Today in this video I'll be showing you how to make these fun and easy St. Patrick's Day earrings. They're made from faux leather and heat transfer vinyl, and I have the SVG file for you free on my blog, and there are lots of different ways that you can change up the layers and really make these your own using different colored vinyls and different patterned faux leather. So if you're ready to learn how to make these, let's get started. Let's go over what I'll be using to make these Lucky Shamrock earrings. These earrings have 4 layers. 2 are faux leather layers and 2 are heat transfer vinyl layers, the word Lucky and the Shamrock. I've designed these earrings so that you can mix and match the different layers. You can only have the word Lucky if you'd like, or only the Shamrock, or only one layer of the earring teardrop. It's really up to you. So I'll be making these earrings using my Cricut Maker, but you could also use the Explore Air 2 or the Cricut Joy, and I'll link to my videos on how to cut faux leather with those machines, but the process is almost identical. I'll be using a purple strong grip cutting mat with some blue painter's tape to cut the faux leather, and I'll be using the green standard grip cutting mat and my weeding tool to cut the vinyl. To press, I'll be using my Easy Press Mini and a heat pressing pad and a cover sheet. This is a Teflon cover sheet that I've cut down to size. You could also use parchment paper. If you have the larger Easy Press, you can still make earrings with it. You just want to carefully check your time and your temperature to make sure you're not overheating the faux leather or pressing down too hard. The faux leather I'll be using is some cute St. Patrick's Day patterns from Amazon, but you can find a ton of cute St. Patrick's Day faux leathers on Etsy, on Amazon, on all different kinds on Facebook groups. I will link to some of my favorite vendors in the description box for you. And the green faux leather I'll be using is from Amazon. I like it because it's smooth and it's easy to press onto. It's also available in white. And then I'll be using Caesar glitter heat transfer vinyl in gold and Caesar Easy Weed in green. But again, you can mix and match all these colors. There's green glitter, there's silver, there's other gold. It's really up to you. To make the earring holes, I like to use a 1/16 inch hole punch. I'll link to that for you also. If you don't have a hole punch, you can always make the hole in the top of your earring using the sharp tip of your weeding tool. And to apply the earring hooks, I'll use 2 pair of flat nose pliers, some earring hooks, and some 6mm jump rings. You'll also need the SVG pattern for my Lucky earrings, and that's in my free resource library on my blog. It's going to be design number 169, and I will show you now how to access my resource library and download this pattern and upload it to Cricut Design Space. The SVG file for these earrings are in the library on my blog. You'll visit amyromeo.com, and if you need a password, click Get a Password and one will be emailed to you. Then you'll return and you'll click on the resource library icon and you'll enter the password. Once you're inside the library, all of my designs have numbers and names. When you watch this video and you go to the library, the number 169 will be there, and so will the Lucky Teardrop Earrings. So you'll click on the headline, Lucky Teardrop Earrings, and the SVG will download to your device instantly. Then in Cricut Design Space, you'll click Upload and you'll want to browse to where your file downloaded. Click on the SVG to select it and then upload. And then select it from your uploads and insert the images. So you can see I'm giving you 2 versions of the design here, one with pre-cut holes where your Cricut will cut the holes for you, and one without. If you use the pre-cut hole version and the holes don't cut through completely, you can use a sharp tool to poke through the hole all the way, or you can use a 1/16 inch hole punch. I like to just start with the 1/16 inch hole punch, so I will be hiding this design, so I'm only cutting this design. And the way to do that is to click on the eye icon on the layers panel and hide the layers that you don't want to cut. You can also do this if you, for example, did not want to cut the word Lucky, then you could just hide it and not cut it and only cut the other layers. but I want to show you how to cut all 4 layers, so I will click Make It. Design Space separates our layers onto 4 different mats. Because the word lucky is a word that we'll be cutting from heat transfer vinyl, that will need to be mirrored, so I will go ahead and mirror that. And the other designs don't need to be mirrored because they're not text and they're not oriented in a certain way. So we can go ahead and click Continue. I like to cut my faux leather mats first, and I like to hover over the mat preview and see what size faux leather I'll need to cut to put on my mat to cut the shapes. So it looks like for this particular mat, I'll need a piece of faux leather about 3.5 inches wide and 3 inches tall. I like to use the faux leather paper thin setting. If you're using an Explorer Air 2, you'll want to be sure that your dial is set to custom so that this setting will appear. If you don't have faux leather paper thin, you can click on Browse All Materials and search for it. So I will click faux leather paper thin, and I like to set my pressure to more. And we're ready to cut the first faux leather layer. So I'll go ahead and show you how to prepare the mat and get that cut. So I'm ready to cut the first faux leather mat, and I've already cut a smaller piece of the faux leather from the pattern and the solid green. And I cut them smaller because I'm going to tape them down to the mat. And the smaller the piece, the more secure the tape will keep the faux leather, and you'll get a better cut. So here's my piece of green faux leather, and I'm going to flip it over and put it in the top left corner as the mat preview showed in Cricut Design Space. And I'll just use blue painter's tape to tape this down on all sides. I already have my material selection made, faux leather paper thin with more pressure. And I'll just feed that into the machine by pressing the double arrow button and press the C to start the cut. Whenever I cut faux leather, I always like to check the cut first before I unload the mat. If the cut doesn't go all the way through, you can press the C button to repeat the cut as many times as you need to, as long as you haven't unloaded the mat. So I always like to check with a sharp weeding tool. This particular faux leather did cut all the way through. Another reason why I love using this, it's very easy to cut. But if your faux leather did not cut all the way through, just press the C button and the cut will repeat. Mine looks good, so I will unload the mat by pressing that double arrow button. And I'll just remove my little shapes. Now, if you cut the version that already has the holes, then if the holes didn't go all the way through, you'll just take your sharp tool and kind of poke the little hole to clean out any debris that's left behind. So I'm going to remove this piece of faux leather from my mat. I'm going to save the tape, take this piece down and cut the other faux leather mat, and then we'll move on to the heat transfer vinyl. After we've cut the faux leather mats, it's time to cut the heat transfer vinyl mats. And the setting that you use will depend on the material you're cutting from and if you have any preferred material settings for that particular material. I'll be cutting the Lucky words out of glitter heat transfer vinyl. I'm using the Caesar brand, which is a little bit thicker. I like to use the glitter vinyl setting with default pressure, and I will probably repeat the cut by pressing the C button after the first cut takes place. If you're using a different glitter vinyl, you may not need to repeat the cut, but the Caesar glitter is pretty thick. For the Shamrocks, I'll be using just regular heat transfer vinyl, so I will click on the washi sheet setting, which I prefer for intricate cuts, and I will use more pressure. So let me show you how I cut out those layers, and we'll start to assemble our earrings. Before I apply the heat transfer vinyl using my Easy Press Mini, I'm going to punch the holes on the top of the earrings. If you use the version of the SVG that already had the pre-cut holes, then you won't need to do this step. I've turned on my Easy Press Mini on the low setting and it's just warming up and waiting for me. This is a 1/16 inch hole punch and I got this on Amazon and I use this all the time to punch my earring holes. It very easily punches through 1 or 2 layers of faux leather. And if the little fuzz just sticks to the back, you can just pull that off. So what I like to do is then use the same earring hole, line it up, and use it as a guide to punch the other earring. So I'll just do that on both earrings. All right, I'll be applying the faux leather, the heat transfer vinyl to the printed faux leather, and I just like to lay these out ahead of time. You'll notice that the Shamrock, the little tails face in opposite directions. I always like earrings to match, but not be an exact copy. So I'll just check them to make sure they look nice and lined up. And they do. So this is a piece of Teflon sheet that I've cut down to size. You can also use Teflon paper. I'm sorry, parchment paper. And I'll just cover it up like that and press a few times. Remove the cover sheet and then kind of peel back and make sure that your vinyl has stuck, which it did. And then we'll repeat on this side. You don't want to press for too long or too hard. This takes a little bit of practice, but I like to try pressing on the lowest setting for about 5 to 7 seconds each time and then checking. So we've got both of those on, and then we'll line up our little lucky words. Again, I like to set them up next to each other so I can make sure that the placement matches. That looks good. So again, 5 to 7 seconds. I think those look pretty good. So now that we've got our design on the top layer, it's time to attach the earring hooks. So I've got 2 regular earring hooks and jump rings. These are 6mm jump rings. But what we need to do first to get our earrings to hang straight is to turn this loop 90 degrees. If you've seen my other videos, you've seen me do this many times, but I will show you quickly how to do that. I grip the earring hook between my thumb and forefinger, and then I also grip the loop with some flat nose pliers and just turn 90 degrees. And now the loop is facing in this direction, and that will let our earring hang straight when we attach the jump ring. So I'll do that to the other one. And now it's just a matter of opening our jump ring and attaching the earring hook. So I like to use 2 pliers for this. I have the pliers holding one side of the jump ring. The opening of the jump ring is facing up in the 12 o'clock position. I like to use another pair of flat nose pliers and just gently twist open the jump ring. So I'll put on the bottom layer, the top layer, and then the earring hook, making sure the earring hook is going in the right direction, and close back up again. If you're not used to using pliers and making jewelry, that will take a little bit of practice, but it's an easy skill to learn with practice, and it's very important. So I wanted to show you the finished earrings. And again, you could make these look any way you like by changing out the printed faux leathers you use, changing out the colors, changing the text color, any way you'd like to do these. These are really cute. If you make earrings and you sell them, I do offer a small business commercial use license for this design in my shop, and I'll link to that for you in the description box. And I also wanted to show you my cute little St. Patrick's Day gnomes, my gnome earrings. This is another free file in my resource library, and I will link to this for you if you want to try making these little guys. They're really cute. And I also have a keychain, a Shamrock keychain in my shop that I will link to as well. So I have all kinds of cute St. Patrick's Day ideas for you that I hope you'll try. I really hope you like this video, and if you want to see more videos like this one, I hope you'll spend some time exploring my YouTube channel. I have so many more earring and Cricut crafting and jewelry making tutorials that I'd love to share with you. Don't forget to head over to my blog to grab the SVG file for these Lucky Teardrop earrings, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.